What's up, all of my dads, fathers, leaders, coaches, mentors, all you amazing people out there. On this episode of the Dad's Corner, we're going to be taking and fielding some awesome questions or answers that we got from a question that my friend Jayson posed last week. Listen to this. There are some really good answers, really good ideas, topics, and struggles that dads go through on a daily.
Yeah, don't forget, leave your comments, leave all your anything you want us to talk about in the comment section. We'd love to keep doing this. This is going to be an awesome episode. Don't miss it. What up? Episode 9.
9?
Episode 9. Yeah, this is not 9. This will be 8.
Hey,
seen you.
So Tiffany and I were talking last night. We were like, if you lost a thumb, do you still have all your fingers?
Was y'all bored?
We were laughing. I don't know what.
I think you do. Okay, so here's the thing: is your thumb a finger or is it a separate appendage?
I've always thought you had 10 fingers, right?
But you don't. You got 8 fingers and
2 thumbs.
But that's like saying the big toe.
It's not a toe.
Yeah, because it's the big one.
Anyway, that's it. That was funny.
It's deep today already.
It's already deep
today. Jayson, Krisell Daddy.
Tony with the keys. I got the keys that belong to you. What's up?
I mean,
I am so glad. I'm so glad that we are here today. That we made it to episode 9. Like we've doubled the average, right?
Oh yeah, we're one away from double digits.
Man,
second episode of the Sportscast came out. Don't forget to go check that out. It's awesome.
You gotta watch it.
We're trying to cut out as much of the sports talk on this one as we can, just so it doesn't eat up our time. So go check that one out. We have random guests all the time. If you want to be on the Sportscast, let us know. It's been incredible. We've just been talking about whatever sports are going on. NFL right now is big, fantasy. So anything and all things sports, that's where we're going to be talking about it at.
And if you want to have a guest spot on this show right here, the Dad's Corner, we encourage you. Leave us a message. Let us know. We want to learn more about other fathers and the different journeys that you might go through. Because what we know is that it's not a cookie cutter situation. It's different for everyone. We all have different circumstances, situations that even led us to being a father, and we have different parenting styles. And what's funny is sometimes we have very similar parenting styles. And so it's always good to unlock those ideas and you know, how you are being the best father that you can be.
Yeah, second week in a row, we want to thank White Oak Ridge Cattle for sponsoring this episode. All your beef needs. They have Black Angus. They are incredible to work with. Seth Holder works with the cow. He works with his family, with his kids. It's a father-run business. We want to show our support and just tell him thanks for that. But again, they've got some orders coming up in October, so if you want a cow, if you want a quarter, a half, a whole, if you've never done it before, go to their website. He makes it extremely easy, pricing and all. But definitely hit them up. I cannot stress to you enough how important it is to know where your meat's coming from and not be buying what they call meat in the store. So
what they call meat in the store.
Some of that stuff you see in there, it's not really meat.
GMO.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be that color. You know what I mean? You know?
Yeah.
So, but last week we posed a question. What is a trait, a topic, or a struggle with fatherhood that you don't think people either know about, or that maybe they do know about it, but it didn't really hit home until you actually had kids? We had an overwhelming
the responses were
responses, and so what we're going to do today, we're going to go through those responses. You're probably going to hear your responses that were sent to us, and we're just going to take them topic by topic and kind of elaborate on them. So that's kind of the game plan today. So if you hear something that you want to have a comment on, by all means, go to the comment section, add to it. We'd love to hear your responses. If you didn't get to send it to Tony or I, or if you didn't comment on the last video, by all means, comment below. We can definitely talk about it in later episodes. That's kind of what this is about getting your feedback.
I think we should do this often. Like, this could be kind of a recurring theme, asking those questions. And then some of these topics may end up being whole shows. Like, we may end up taking one of these and turning it into a whole show. And so I think that this is a good format to do that, is to answer your questions, to listen to your questions, to hear kind of what you're thinking about. And man, it's such a good question, Jayson.
Yeah.
So ask that question again.
Yeah. So what is a topic or struggle that you have found with fatherhood that you want other people to know about, or that you think is not really common knowledge? So some of them, we got some funny ones that we're going to read. We also got some very serious, very honest, very open answers, which I was so thankful for. But it's really cool just to see different dads' perspectives on what they're doing, what they know, what they were worried about, what they ended up seeing with becoming a father that maybe they weren't ready for. So,
what's one from you? Just a funny one, or something small before we get into the good stuff. What's something from you?
How many times I was going to apologize to a kid? How many times I was going to mess up? I kind of had this this notion of like, you have a kid, everything you say is right, what they say is not right. You're going to tell them that they're doing this, and this. And I find myself a lot of times being, trying to be the bigger person and show them also, hey, I'm sorry. Hey, yeah. I didn't do this. One thing that I'll say on a serious note is finding you a spouse who backs you up,
100%.
Being on the same team, especially with, last week we talked about discipline and encouragement. Having a wife or husband back you up, even if they don't agree with you, but backing each other up, and then saying, later on at night or later on when the kids aren't around, hey, I don't really think you handled that right, or I don't think that we should maybe do it this way or that way, is really key. And I've been blessed. Like, Casey and I, we're a solid team. There's times where we definitely disagree about different subjects or different things, but we're on the same team. My kids know that if you disrespect Casey, you're grass, like you're mine. And vice versa. I mean, there's times where they'll pop back to me, or they'll say something, and before I can even get it out, I'll hear her say, "Hey, don't talk to him like that. Don't look at him like that." And so it's very encouraging, especially because there's days where, marriage is, they say 50-50, and it's not. Sometimes it's 90-10. Sometimes it's 80-20. And so there's days where I'm not feeling it. Like, they're not I'm not feeling being a father, but like I'm just not in it.
Yeah.
They get home and I either don't feel good, or I'm tired, or something's going on. I got things on my mind. And it's important that, like, if I'm giving 20%, I know that she's giving 80. And if it's one of those days where she's giving 20 and I'm giving 20, that's when that's when there's arguments. That's when there's,
that's good,
complaints, just because, and there's going to be those days.
Yeah.
There's going to be those days where we can't both give it all, but having a spouse that you can count on, that you're, God bless me way more than I thought I deserved with a spouse. And so it's nice to just have that person that I know when I'm not feeling up to it, or when I'm failing as a father, she's going to come back and say, "You're incredible. Like, you're doing great. Like, what do you had a bad day, or you yelled at the kids when you shouldn't have." It's not like you're doing it every day. It's not like it's a problem. It's just, having somebody there to have your back is really awesome. So that's kind of mine. What about you?
So I'm going to do the same thing you did. So first thing is going to be so I've got like a 7-month-old. He's about to be 8 months. How to make a bottle one-handed.
Okay.
Bro, it's really awesome whenever you can, like, pick them up. They're chilling, or you got them, they're chilling. And then all of a sudden you realize they're hungry. They're kind of tripping. My son, like, he'll let you know, "I'm hungry, dude." And so I have to go to the thing. And our bottle machine. So we got a bottle machine. You need, if you got a toddler or a baby, you need a bottle machine. They're amazing.
What's a bottle machine?
Oh my gosh, bro! You just put a bottle on there. You put your formula in top, and the water in the back, and you press a button. You say 5 ounces, and bow. 6 ounces, bow. pre-mixes it, mixes
It's been
it
so
up.
long since I've been in that realm.
Bro,
I'm
I'm
used
in
to
there.
like pouring it.
I'm in there. So
Pour
so our bottle machine broke. Even flow. What's up? We need their response.
Yeah. We're calling you out.
Calling you out straight up. If you want to be a sponsor, you can.
It's a national podcast, and we're calling you out.
If you want to be a sponsor, you can. I'd love that. That would make it all right.
So get you a bottle machine, is what you're saying.
Yes. No, but one-handed bottle making. You know, jug, boom, distilled water in the bottle, formula in the bottle, lid on top. Shake it up. I got real good. So that's something that, you know, that they don't tell you. It's not in any books. But you're probably going to have to do a one-handed bottle making seminar. You know, I'll probably have to do a seminar at some point.
Probably. They'll probably have you out, over here at the event center.
Yeah. I was thinking about doing that. No, another thing is, on like a serious note, is definitely that the things that you do, your children are gonna follow. So like you are leading the charge as the head of the household. Like you're leading the charge. If you pray, then they're gonna pray. If you cuss, they're gonna cuss.
Yep.
If you are energetic, if you're happy, if you're loving on your spouse, if you're doing these things, if you're showing them love, it's going to be reciprocated. And as much as we think that, you know, in post parenting, like we're like, oh, that's a given. Like leading up to that, you don't know what to expect. But I would say like coming into being a new father, coming into being a father, period, like there is a big responsibility on being the best version of yourself that you can be, not just for you, but for the lives that you're fostering, the lives around you. So it is extremely important to lead that charge and to show instead of just tell.
Yeah.
And
I
so
like it.
That's a powerful thing that I've realized that they're always watching.
Yeah.
Always.
Oh yeah, we had a little bit of that last week.
Oh yeah,
a little bit of little minds in there here. But
well, that's kind of what made me think of that. Whenever you, that's what made me think of that.
So we hop into these. Do you think we can get these on the screen whenever we're like the actual things itself?
For sure.
So we'll just hop back and forth, and we've got them all written here. We're going to go to the comment section. That way we can at least see them. First comment that I had, I'll start off with a little bit of a funny one, and you kind of let me know your thoughts on it. Because we dealt with it a little bit, but not a ton. It says, both our girls had a small problem with dry skin, so after bath time, we would put lotion on them. I cannot stress this enough. Trying to put PJs on an infant who has lotion on them is actually the hardest effing thing to do in the entire world.
Hey, it really is.
It's the onesies.
It's the onesies, the full body onesies.
The full body, you're trying to peel it on them, essentially. You're not even putting it on. You're trying to fold it on them.
So, and so he said lotion. But like, so we'll use like Aquifer because of the dry skin, and that it sticks. So you gotta like fold it out.
And the onesies are fleece.
Yeah, they're
disgusting.
bamboo thin onesie, and it's just like
you need a bath after you put them on. Yeah, no, that's crazy.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a good one. Next one is. This one's kind of a more serious. So he says, being emotionally available for your family, giving your wife and kids the best version of you each day, not your coworkers and your friends. So a lot of times, so when Casey and I first got married, we actually, the pastor who married us, he said, you know, a lot of people think when you're cheating or having an affair, it's physical, right?
Yeah.
He was like, but so many times people have affairs with their time. And, you know, if you're at the office and you're like, I'd rather stay here because maybe such and such is here, or I'm having more fun with the guys at work. I don't want to go home where I know I've got a crying baby or I've got a sick kid or, you know, whatever it is. And so that comment really rings true to the fact of be your best, because a lot of times the spouse gets what's left over.
Yeah.
And it's hard not to be the spouse who comes home and is like such a joyful person at work and such a joyful person maybe at the gym and at lunch and then with these meetings, and then you come home and you just get like this ogre who's just like miserable and unhappy, and it's like, am I the, then your spouse starts to feel, are me and the kids the one that make you miserable? Is that why you're unhappy? And so that one was a good one that touched on, because there's been times where I felt like I wasn't like this all day.
So I've also, and when it's something that we've been intentional about too, is like bringing your problems home. And that's the only thing that you discuss at the house is the problems, the issues, the things that we're struggling.
Went wrong?
What went wrong? We want to bring the joyous things and bring that energy, like you're saying. And I know that it's hard sometimes with working dads. Like, you're putting in hours, you're doing all these things. Also, working mothers, like, you're putting in hours, you're doing all these things, and then you come home and you're kind of drained. But like, I think that you're absolutely right. It's important that we greet each other with that same energy and maybe carve out some time to where we can discuss, like the struggles,
what
the pains.
Good thing happened today. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely have that. Like, I think that should be at the forefront. But if we need to discuss, pain points, if we need to discuss those things, I don't think that we should lead with that. And a lot of times it's like, oh man, I'm so sick of everybody and this and that. And well, you were just at work. Like, I just saw you do a live video and y'all were like laughing and having fun.
Yeah, and then you come home and you're old Gus in the trash
Did you see
can. A little bit. I seen you go down a little. I wasn't going to say anything, but you're a little lower.
I did. Okay.
Man, might have to switch chairs for you.
Well, that chair does it too.
No, not mine.
Oh, I need a stationary chair.
Yeah, we may have to get you just a regular wooden chair.
A high chair?
With the little front on it connects to this. Okay, next one. This one comes from Andrew Whitmore. So, I'd say the importance of being a good father. From everything to being a good roommate, doing your share or more than your share selflessly and romantically and also spiritually and philosophically. Working great as a team and having communication and truly enjoying each other makes parenting so much easier.
Yeah.
So a little bit kind of what I touched on with mine is it's nice to have, I think when you can rely on somebody and you can have that give and take and it's fair, even when it's not fair, you're not having to keep up with who's done more for the other one. I think a lot of times spouses get into maybe a bad situation where it's like, well, he got to do this or she got to do this, and you're trying to keep score and it just never works out. But if you're selfless and you're just saying, hey, I'm not gonna keep score. There may be 3-4 days in a row where I do the cooking, I do the dishes, and she doesn't, or vice versa, and that's okay. Like, not throwing it back in each other's face and just being a team. And I think your kids see that and see what kind of relationship they want, moving forward.
Home team, man. I heard, and it's something that I've been saying for a long time, and it's something that I say Tiffany does for me, is complements my strengths and supplements my weaknesses.
Ooh.
And vice versa.
Same like,
that's what we all want to do. That home team should complement your strengths and supplement your weaknesses. They make up the deficit of wherever you're at the weakest, and where you're the strongest. Like, they're encouraging and they're complementing that. Like, they go with it. And so I think that is, like, if we can think from that mindset, like, that's how we keep the home team.
Dude, that's good.
Yeah.
So, complement my strengths, supplement my weaknesses. Well, I like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's good.
I like it. All right.
I got one for you. I got one for you, bro. It's a good one. Okay. He said, for me, it was the worry that comes with being a parent. I used to worry about everything: death, financials, health, choking, just the amount of stress that is almost immediate. What I come later to know that really just leaning into my faith has taught me to understand it's going to be okay. Most recently, I've been really trying to figure out how to stay the coolest person in the world for my teenagers. That's a struggle too, just how to stay cool. So there's those two things. So they left two things. But I think that like whenever you don't know what to expect.
Yeah. When
you don't know what to expect, and it's just like I'm scared of death. Like, are we gonna make enough money? Like, I know babies like that. Babies die sometimes. Like, we don't want that to happen. Like, am I doing everything to keep everything okay? Like, if my child gets sick, what happens? What do we do if my wife gets sick? So it's like just the doom and gloom of all of it. And sometimes we just have to lean, not sometimes, we always just need to lean on that faith to know that everything's going to be okay. Like, that we are enough, and we can make it through this. If they made it through it, I can make it through it too.
Yeah, and just not realizing that you don't have control.
Yeah.
You can be in as much control as you want, but at the end of the day, you have no control.
That's right.
So you can either fight it or, give into it. And so I liked his second.
Oh yeah. So
second point. I haven't had to deal with that yet because at this age, I'm still the coolest. I'm the coolest. I mean, every day I come home, it's like, oh, Dad's home. He's the man. You on the
There's
other
a
hand,
switch over there, a light, and if you go over there and you flip it, it's off, right? So that's how the cool works with kids. It's like you're cool, and they look at you and they want to hold your hand, and they want you to pick them up, and they don't mind you hugging them. And then at some point, that the switch.
So it's not gradual.
It's not gradual. It's all of a sudden. It's like all of a sudden, and I think we've talked about this before. Like all of a sudden, it's like I don't like. Can I go with my friends? Like, we're at a ball game. Can I go with my friends? And their friends can think you're cool, think you're the cool dad, but
which makes you even more uncool.
Yeah, and then of course I'm like the guy, I'm like, oh, come here, baby. And I really see this with my girls. I'm hoping that my son doesn't do this, but my girls, yeah, it's a switch, and it was really that those double digits. Those double digits hit. I don't know. They just like Dad is not.
They'll come back around though. Right?
I'm sure. My sister has come back around to my dad, and my oldest, like, she's now starting to like she's preparing for college and stuff. Like she's like, so
now you're not uncool.
We're kind of cool now. I'm kind of cool now, but yeah, there's a switch that flips, and it's like you are like.
You're like, I was just cool.
The things that you say,
especially in your household, because you got some that think you're really cool, and then get to a point where you're not cool. So you're like, how you try? Yeah, how
not demure.
Demure. I hate that. Demure. So you got some kids. So you're like, I'm cool in half my household, and then the other half, I'm not cool at all.
Well, that's the good part. Is like I do have the other half that's like,
yeah. You're like, hey, you still think Dad's cool, right? Like,
yeah, he still asks me to play with him and stuff.
Yeah.
My daughter's like, hey, you wanna? I'm like, hey, babe, you wanna hang out or do something? You wanna? No, I'm good. I'm good. I'll just stay back here.
So. Yeah, this one goes with our with last week's topic really well. So this comes from Theo H. So disciplining is my biggest struggle. I have a reputation of being a cool parent, but can go from 0 to 60 real quick when they don't listen the first time. Trying to find the right balance of stern but not being a maniac is tough sometimes still. He gave an example too. Not knowing anything about grammar is another tough one. Having to help do the first grade English was pretty humbling. So he brought up a good point there with, I've struggled with that too, is like that you're cool, and then you erupt. And then you sit there and go, well, that wasn't fair. Like, I shouldn't have acted like that. But I'm not ready for that homework.
Oh, bro, it's real. Now I'm pretty good with it. Like I can do the stuff because I don't know. I think I'm pretty smart. Like, as far as if they have something,
let me ask you one
down.
thing.
I'll read it.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
What is? Oh, let me find it. What is a 3-word bend?
A 3-word bend?
Yeah, a 3-letter bend. The homework was find all of the 3-letter bends. If you know what a 3-letter bend is, put it in the comments. I can tell you 2 guys who don't know, or we're sitting
that guy
right here.
and this guy, and they have 2 thumbs.
Right here.
What about the discipline? Do you ever see yourself flying off the handle? You're
So I thought about this after last week's show. Like, we shouldn't discipline out of anger. Like, I don't know. Like, sometimes it's that reaction, but we have a choice in how we do these things. But like, I am kind of like that to an extent. Like, I think that they see more disappointment whenever I start to discipline at first. I just find myself being disappointed and not so angry. And maybe there will be a point where I'm like super angry about it, and then like I'll have to like have a cooling down period before I administer any kind of discipline. But I think that for the most part, I try to be cool, and then you can go there, but it's more of a disappointment at first. Like if they do something that I'm like, why did you?
Where did that come from?
Now you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Now you're in trouble.
Now you've just ruined it.
Like we were going.
I've looked at them before and to myself, to a child, you just ruined this day because now you're in trouble.
Now you're in trouble.
And they're like, I don't even know what.
Your mom's going to talk to me about this for at least another 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I'm not happy with this.
Yeah.
So.
I've got another one, and this one's going to be a bit of, this one should have some controversy, I guess, with it. So this is from Logan Williams. The struggle with being the one who goes back to work and the misconception from the wife that you get a break from being a parent while at work when you come home to daddy duty full time, and how there aren't many breaks. So I think a lot of times, and I would love to hear the comments on this one, is, the dads go back to work pretty quick. Depending, some guys now you get paternity leave and you're off for like something crazy. But like for me with both kids, it was maybe 1 week, 2 weeks max. You go back, and Casey never really did this, which was nice, but there's a real big misconception that like, oh, well, I'm here all day with the kids or kid, and you get to go to work. And so then when you come home, like, I need a break. Well, I've always said to that, not being in that situation, was, okay, I'll come home and immediately be in that situation, but then are you going to now leave and go work 8 hours? And so trying to find, I think there is a big misconception that it's like, well, you go back to work and you just got all this free time. It's like, right, but you got the stress of the job and getting up and getting ready and going to work and coming back and then trying to decompress from work, knowing you're walking into a newborn's life that you don't know anything about, that you don't know how to raise, that you don't know how to do anything. So I think it is a real strong misconception.
I think that you just have to take inventory, and we have to have some type of empathy for both perspectives.
Yeah.
For that perspective, I've been around the kid. Like I remember whenever, really it was whenever we had Dex, and I was working, she stayed home for like a year, and one of those things is like, she was like, I don't talk to a lot of grown-ups during the day. So, it's like you're going out talking to people and doing all this stuff, and you come back and you're chipper. Like I just need some interaction. And so it was more of an interaction with her and not just the kids. And then also, there is, they do want that quick little relief and all that stuff. But I think that there has, y'all both have to be able to understand what's going on.
And maybe just come home and maybe take the baby for a little bit while she goes and just showers and kind of
100%.
Just gets 10 minutes just in a different room and but I think it is harder to do that if you're getting hit with, well, you've been gone all day. I need this. You've been just chilling all day.
And that's what I'm talking about, the inventory. Yeah. I think that there has to be a real conversation, and then they both have to take that inventory. Okay, you're going out working to do these things, and it's not like you're just sitting around when you're at work. I'm here, and I'm working too. It's not like I'm just sitting around. I'm handling this baby. I'm making sure that
keeping it alive.
Yeah, all of this stuff. And so I think that if both parties can take inventory and know that there may be days that I come home from work and I'm dog tired, but I'm going to come home and I'm going to give you everything that I have.
Yep.
As long as there's that and that appreciation, I think that it can go. But yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah. You got another one?
Yeah, I do. And it's, I fucking unlocked my phone. I think one topic would be the balance between giving your family a better life and making sure you are setting your kids up for success. My parents were harsh. I'm never going to be like that. Quote, quote. My parents were harsh. I'm never going to be like that. Well, that's BS, because if you ain't, the world will be. I think balance is an aspect hard to juggle because mama may want to unconditionally coddle. It's in her nature, and as a dad, you kind of got to fight the fight, even though mama might hate you for a minute. So I think that what he's referring to is like kind of going back to that discipline and things of that nature, but more or less how you're raising a kid to be prepared for when they grow up, when they're leaving. And if you're not, I say this all the time, if you are not disciplining them, if you're not somewhat tough on them, like, the world will be tougher. Yeah. And I'm not saying that you got to be just like dog them out or anything, right. But if you don't show them the path, then the world will. And sometimes, like, we try to coddle them and just keep them sheltered and away from scraping their knee or whatever the case may be. And sometimes they're going to bump their heads and realize that they're going to bump their heads when they get older too. How do you respond when you bump your head, when you scrape your knee? Yeah.
One, just learning not to do something again that you know what I mean? Like, learning that hurt. I'm going to be careful next time. Yeah, that's a good one. I've got two more really good ones. Let's go with right here. So this comes from, let's see, which one was this? Oh, yeah. Blake J. Realizing that your kids aren't you and don't have the same interests as you do now or when you were their age. For example, you may have been a big athlete, but your son isn't interested in sports, or that you were interested in certain extracurricular activities and they aren't. All of that is okay. Just support them, whether they're the first string quarterback, fourth string tight end, trumpet player in the band, quiz bowl member, or whether they don't even like school, period. It took a while for me to understand that they're not going to do the same things that I did as a kid and want to hang out with the same people that I did. Just realize that your kids aren't you. So, kind of struggles if you enjoy something. I've got an uncle who was big time into sports, like loved playing football, and neither one of his sons really cared much about sports. And that's okay, but it was hard for him for a while because he was like, I want them to play sports. I want them to do what I did. And eventually he had to just make peace with that's not what they're interested in. And so I think it's hard for a dad to know what you were good at or what you liked and then see that your kid can't stand it. Because we all want them to be, we really put a lot of pressure because we want them to be little us.
We do.
And live vicariously through them. But there's sometimes where it's like,
are you imposing on your child?
Yeah. Are you keeping them from being their full self because you want them to be mini you?
That is a look in the mirror sometimes. I don't know. I try to get on their level with everything that they do. But yeah, that's a really good one and a tough one. I know that there are some struggles with that out there. You know, people have some tough times doing that. But I just try to get on their level, bro. Yeah,
I like it. So this is if I could say what we wanted to get from the Dad's Corner, this comment right here is what I want other dads to hear, other fathers. And I have one more after this because we do have a mother's perspective on one. So, but this comes from Daniel Cartwright. I was raised and falsely believed the stigma for men and dads is to be strong, tough, calm, supportive, stable, and provide. But that doesn't mean you can't ask for help. It doesn't mean you can't be okay or that you have to deprioritize your own well-being to be that. There's strength and weakness, there's ways to handle things differently, etc., and still be all of those things. Adjusting to life as a husband and a parent brings a wealth of challenges, emotions, unknowns, new priorities, etc. They can eat you up and spit you out. In the beginning, I was prideful and overconfident that I'll get through it. It'll pass. I can figure it out. Plus, the mind-numbing consistency of it'll get better, give it time, created a false safety net that, although may be true, it's never going to be easy. The truth is, I just needed to embrace and accept that I was and am over my skis, off my rocker, and just need help. The sooner that we as men and fathers can be okay with not being okay, the less risk there is for internal meltdowns, damaging relationships, distancing yourself from those that can help or care, and losing yourself or your cool. It's a hard lesson that I've had to experience the hard way. Thankfully, I've come to grips with it, and there's a lot of work in front of me to navigate it. Be aware, be accountable, rebuild, heal, and repair. Definitely would have helped to have more of a grip or a plan on that before I became a father.
That's good. I don't even have to say. We don't even have to say nothing about
I mean,
that
it's
like,
truly just a. You don't know what to expect until you're in it. Like, you can try to plan, you can try to prepare, you can try to do whatever you want, but until you sit down, until you have kids, till you have something that depends on you to stay alive, and you realize the stress that comes with it, you can't put it into words until you're living it. And sometimes I think, especially for fathers, we just bury it, and it gets to the point where guys are exploding because they don't have that avenue to say, this is what I need, this is where I'm at. We have this tough mentality, and I do think that the dad is the leader. He's he is the strong one, but there's, especially with your spouse, you've got to be able to come in and just be like, I'm not good. Like, I'm not in a good spot. And work through it together, because the more you hold it in, the more you're going to explode and do something that you don't want to do.
Definitely, I mean, with your spouse, but I think it's also important to have like a friend group or somebody that you can talk to, having somebody that you can kind of vent to that's outside of that, that's on the outside from being just on the inside with you. I mean, your spouse is a great person to do it, but like definitely having somebody that you can talk to. And that's exactly what you said at the beginning of that. That's why we created this space, because it's not cookie cutter. We didn't do this to be like, we know it all.
Yeah.
Like, we want to learn and understand a little bit more about what all the situations look like. And that is something that we all go through, like where we may not be okay. And so it's important to have that somebody that you can talk to and really express those. So a good buddy, a friend, a group like this, the Dad's Corner, I think that it's important to be able to share those things and get it off your chest sometimes.
Yep. So here is we actually got from Megan W., we got a female's perspective on it, and I actually liked her answer one of the best. She said, how hard it is to maintain your relationship as a couple, because it's easy to let go in the fog of the newborn stage, and really as they get older and priorities or activities come into play, you get so used to a routine for the kids and the relationships can get lost in it. So I don't think people realize until you have kids how much it affects your relationship just in time together. By the time you get the kids down, it's like you both just want to lay there and take a breather, and it's easy to get lost in the fact of, I haven't asked you about your day, I haven't asked you how you're doing mentally, I haven't asked you, anything. And so it's easy to do that when you get into a routine, and with kids, it's always a new routine. It's never like, well, we'll work on this. I mean, you hear so many parents say when their kids go off to college that they look at each other and they're like,
what do we do now?
Hey, I'm Jayson. Hi, I'm Casey. It's like you almost, like, they're gone. Now we get to reunite. And so it's very, I think, key to, throughout time, have the date nights, have the times where you're not sitting there going, man, I feel like I haven't even just talked to you in a month. We live in the same house, we sleep in the same bed, and I feel like we haven't talked in a long time.
Yeah.
But like she said, it's the newborn stage, and you think, oh, I'll get it after that. Well, then it's, they're walking, and then they're playing sports, or they're doing activities, or they're in this, and then next thing you know, they're 18. And you look up and look at each other, and it's almost like, man, where did the time go? Where have we put our efforts? So
we pretty much live on a Google Calendar, and because the kids have all kinds of stuff going on. And I think that it's important to be intentional about scheduling time. making time, scheduling time for your spouse. So that's my 2 cents on that, man.
You got another one or?
No,
Nope.
I'm empty.
All right. So I wrote down this one. You got a dad joke?
Yeah.
Hit it.
I was just gonna say, like, what do you call a French guy wearing sandals?
French guy wearing sandals.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Felipe Flop.
It's really one of the best parts of the entire podcast.
Felipe Flop.
I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
Felipe Flop.
Yeah.
I love it. Don't quit your day job.
I'm not, bro. And so,
Hey,
bro,
awesome.
you know what?
Thank you. Yeah, thanks everybody for all the comments. Thank you for the replies. That's what we want to do here. We don't want to just always have a topic. We want y'all to talk in the comment section. Give us things to talk about. Give us things you want to hear other people's opinions on. White Oak Ridge Cattle, thanks again for sponsoring the episode. One more thing.
I heard some things that will probably end up being a show. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, one more
Hey.
thing.
Shut the dang door.